What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You guys seen the clip at the beginning, Chris Eubank Jr. preparing for Tommy Langford, and he's absolutely destroying the bag. Now, before people turn into Bruce Lee like, boards don't hit back, or bags don't hit back, I get it, we know that. It's still good to see a guy like Chris Eubank with this high energy type of training, period. You know what I mean? Of course, the bag doesn't hit back, but I don't think he has to worry about it. For those who don't know Tommy Langford, he is an undefeated British champion. I think he has a Commonwealth belt or something. The fight will take place in the UK. Tommy Langford is 17-0, only 6 knockouts, so he has a very low KO percentage, 35%. So far he's been durable enough to keep an undefeated record in 17 fights. We'll see how Chris Eubank Jr. looks, but I like what I'm seeing in terms of his training. The man's always in phenomenal shape. His dad is a legend in the sport with classic fights, and that's a good corner. I mean, anytime your corner was a pro fighter, and not just a pro fighter, a good pro fighter, because anyone could be a pro fighter and have a horrible record, but we all know Chris Eubank, definitely a good fighter with a lot of power. He's also, Eubank Jr. is trained with Floyd Mayweather Sr. on the pad, so that's just world-class experience. Even though he's not using Mayweather Sr. as his like permanent trainer or whatnot, it's still good experience just to be able to do the pads and get any kind of tips from someone like that who's molded his son Floyd Mayweather over the years. So I'm looking forward to watching Chris Eubank's next fight. I don't really know too much about Langford other than his record and things like that, so if you're in the UK and you know a lot about him, then drop it in the comment section. He has a good height, 6 foot. It's a middleweight fight. As you guys know, this is what I want to talk about also in this video. There was talks of Eubank Jr. fighting Golovkin. I was all on board with that particular fight because Eubank Jr., he fought Billy Joe Saunders. It went the distance, split decision. That fight in a rematch can't get made for whatever reason. I don't know what it is with Billy Joe Saunders. I made several videos, but requesting an 80 to 20% split is horrible. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders deserves that for a split decision win, right? It's not like a Broner versus Paulie Malignaggi split decision win, where that was a controversial fight or a contested fight. Some people thought Malignaggi won, some people thought Broner won. However, Broner is clearly an A-side. I don't see Billy Joe Saunders as being this massive A-side that much more than a Chris Eubank Jr. And the first fight was pretty close, even if you had Saunders winning. So the 80 to 20 thing is garbage. I was looking forward to Golovkin fighting Eubank Jr. because I think that's a good test. An athletic guy who's a volume guy with some power. He has like attrition power. He can break you down. And he's kind of wide with his punches, which he would have to watch out with against a guy like Golovkin, who's a good body snatcher and also a good counter puncher and clearly has power. So he wants to try to shorten up some of his punches so they get there quicker, because Golovkin, again, is good with counter punching. But I still wanted to see the fight, even more so than like a Kell Brook. I'm definitely intrigued by the Kell Brook fight, but I think the biggest hindrance is Kell Brook's weight. You could say, oh, he fought at 155 or he's a massive welterweight, but things like that, if you know the sport of boxing, I would be shocked if Kell Brook not exposes or wins rounds or backs Golovkin up in spot. If he beats Gennady Golovkin, I would be shocked if he beats him, and I'll give him all the props in the world post-fight, but I don't see that happening. And weight matters. I don't care what anyone says. There's guys like Ricky Hatton, guys like Winky Wright, who in their offseason, Winky Wright is on like a HBO 24/7 or something, talking about how he can't stay away from Krispy Kreme donuts. So he has a tall frame and he liked junk food from what I heard. And I don't know if he's a gym rat like a Vasyl Lomachenko or Floyd Mayweather, Tim Bradley type. And I don't even know if Tim Bradley is when he's not training, because he balloons up too. That's another person. But what I'm saying is guys like Winky Wright or whatever, they balloon up in weight. But where do you think he clearly has a frame to move up? Winky Wright, you know what I mean? Look at how tall he is and whatnot. But would he really be great at light heavyweight or something? You know what I'm saying? Or cruiserweight? Even though he has the frame to do it, he eats junk food and kind of balloons up in weight. That's kind of what it reminds me of Kell Brook. He's a great fighter at welterweight. I rate him. But just because in your off season you weigh this and that amount, it's still different, because again, I've used this example before. Kell Brook is going in there with the biggest puncher in the division, the middleweight division, after jumping up 2 weight classes. If he walks around at 180, 190 in his off season, that's cool. That just shows his frame can support that weight, but that doesn't mean anything, because if you're going into Kmart or Target, you're not getting punched in the face by somebody, especially somebody as good as Golovkin with an aggressive style and massive power. So it's not about walking around with that weight. It's about competing with that added weight, especially when someone's punching you in the face who's at that weight, who has tons of experience at that weight. Other middleweights in the division haven't been able to take his power, even though his Golovkin's resume is not the best. But I mean, the middleweights he has fought, ranked guys, top 15 guys, can't take his power. So it's different. But we'll see what Kell Brook does. Hopefully they can make a Chris Eubank Jr. Golovkin fight if Golovkin gets past Kell Brook. I personally would rather see it, because I think it's more of a fair fight based on the weight, the height, the styles, and stuff like that. Kell Brook is a great boxer, but the weight is the biggest issue. If Kell Brook was naturally bigger, then I might sway my opinion. But since he's not, and he's only fought at 155 once or a handful of times, who did he fight at 155? Did he fight a Charlo brother, Demetrius Andrade? I don't even know if he could beat guys like that at 154. You know what I mean? Or Canelo. Can he beat Canelo at 154? There's too much that remains to be seen. So hopefully after the Tommy Langford fight, if Chris Eubank Jr. is successful, if Golovkin is successful, we get a fight like that. Or Billy Joe Saunders maybe. I don't even know what Billy Joe Saunders is trying to do. He passed up on many options. Willie Monroe Jr., Gabe Rosado, possibly fighting Eubank in a rematch. And he just seems to think he's this A side. Oh, I want a couple things me way, and I want it over here. But you're not an A side like that. You know what I mean? So hopefully we get to see some middleweight action. The division is okay. It doesn't have the best names, but the best names need to fight each other. Sergio Mora versus Danny Jacobs, winner of that fight Chris Eubank Langford winner, stuff like that. That's what I really want to see. Some middleweight showdowns. Like, it's, again, the division's not that deep. There's only a handful of guys making noise that have potential to be champions in that division. Let's see it. Curtis Stevens, David Lemieux winner versus Danny Jacobs, Sergio Mora winner. Things like that. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Curtis Stevens, Lemieux winner. Those are the fights that I want to see. All of those guys round robin, best of the best, and see who's the best behind Golovkin, or if anyone can maybe beat Golovkin. I don't see it at middleweight, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of Chris Eubank preparation for Tommy Langford. His fight is coming up, and I'm definitely going to stay tuned just because I want to see how people are looking, how people are competing. He fights in October. Golovkin fights next month. So there's a couple fights for the next couple of months where we should be in tune with what's going on, because this will help shape the middleweight division. Curtis Stevens Lemieux, they're having some trouble with the announcement of that fight, so I don't know if it's still going on, but that's scheduled for October. But it's looking good for the middleweight division. Danny Jacobs, Sergio Mora. There's a lot of fights coming up in the next couple months, and that's going to let us know some things, see how people perform, and we could start mapping out future fights. Make sure you like the video, share the video as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.